Hey, this is Sam with SYQEL. This is the complete in-depth guide for using SYQEL. Today we will be going over everything in depth, from picking out visuals to recording them on OBS or Streamlabs. This video covers everything. You can skip ahead to whichever part you need to learn more about. If you're brand new to SYQEL, I recommend checking out our quick start guide linked down below. Let's get started. First, of course, make sure you're logged in at app.syqel.com. Let's go ahead and start by going over all of the visualizer settings. All of your visualizer settings are shown when you hit the settings icon at the top right. Let's talk about making a playlist. You can create a new playlist by naming them here, or rename any you have already created. Once you have a selected playlist, you can go over to Available Visuals. You can hover over each visual and see how it'll react with your audio input source. Simply click on any you'd like to use. In the Selected Visuals tab, you can reorder them by dragging them from side to side, or remove any by clicking the small X button at the top right of each visual, and clicking OK at the top. Let's go over adding watermark logos to your feed. We know that DJs love using SYQEL, and if you're planning on having a set with up to 9 DJs, for example, you can upload all of their logos here. You can upload up to 9 different logos. When you upload them, the number under the logo corresponds to the hotkey that will switch to that watermark during the visual feed, so you don't have to stop the visualization as it's going. You can customize the size of the image, as well as its placement with these 2 boxes right here. Remember to save your watermark settings when you are finished. In the Frequency Reactiveness menu, you can customize the EQ settings for your incoming audio. You can select to upload an MP3 and see how your EQ is affecting the audio. If you only want low frequencies like the kick and bass to affect the visualizer, you can do that here. You can save any settings you have by creating an audio preset. You'll be able to select audio presets on your visual feeds. You can also load audio presets that you've previously made. Let's go over the visualizer behavior settings. You have 3 options to customize the visualizer feed, the first being the frame rate of the visual. You can set this as high as 244 frames per second, depending on the monitor that you are displaying SYQEL on. Keep in mind, if you are recording on OBS or Streamlabs, that you should match the frame rate to whatever FPS you are streaming or recording at. The second option is how long each visual should last on screen. And finally, the transition time between each visual. You can save these settings here. Let's go over creating your visual feed. Take a look at the left-hand menu. Here you'll see your 2 available visual feeds, the first one being 3JS and the second being Milk Drop. 3JS lets you pick visual playlists you've created in the playlist settings. You can choose as many visuals as you'd like, and 3JS will cycle through those. Milk Drop automatically cycles through thousands of psychedelic visuals. You cannot select any playlists you've created. On both visual feeds, you can select your audio input. On Windows, your microphone input will automatically show up here. If you are using an external audio interface, that should show up here as well. For desktop audio routing, if you are using Realtek desktop audio, that will show up here as well. If you have a virtual audio cable input installed, that should show up as a virtual audio cable output. The virtual audio cable is a great way to get music from your DAW into SYQEL. For example, here in Ableton, I can set the output of my DAW to virtual cable input. And in SYQEL, I can select virtual audio cable output. This is how I receive sound from my DAW into SYQEL. Let's talk about your audio inputs on Mac. Your microphone will show up automatically in the audio input selection. We recommend downloading Loopback for desktop audio recording in SYQEL. You can set up a new Loopback device at the bottom left of the program, and then these will show up in your audio input selection in SYQEL. Now you know how to route audio to your visual feeds. Let's talk about selecting a playlist for the 3JS feed. Right under your audio input selection, you can select a playlist that you've created in the playlist menu that we went over earlier. Both 3JS and Milk Drop visual feeds allow you to select any audio presets you've saved in the Frequency Reactiveness menu. Of course, to get your visual started after you've chosen all of your parameters, hit the green Start Visualizer button. Once you've started your visual feed, you can continue to customize the experience with the use of hotkeys. There's a menu at the top right to remind you which hotkeys are available to you. Let's go over all of these now. Pressing Enter will lock a visual in place. Pressing space will cycle to the next visual. Pressing backspace will cycle to the previous visual. Pressing H will hide the toolbar at the top. Pressing L will toggle your watermarks on or off. Pressing 0 through 9 will toggle through your different watermarks. You can press the full screen button at the top right to go full screen. Pressing this menu button at the top left will hide this left-hand menu. Simply press Stop Visualizer to end the visualization. Clicking on the settings icon will also stop the visualizer so you don't end up using any more credits than you meant to. Let's talk about using OBS and SYQEL together. Being able to use SYQEL in your OBS streams or recordings is very easy. In OBS, simply create a new window capture. Select Google Chrome SYQEL as the window. As long as your main audio source in OBS and SYQEL's audio input are the same, there should be no latency between the two. You can then resize SYQEL in your OBS streams however you'd like, or crop it. SYQEL uses a credit-based system. Users can try SYQEL out for free. When you sign up, you are given credits, which tick down as you use the visualizer. You can see how many credits you have here. When you run out of credits, the visualizer will stop. However, we are planning on letting users continue to use SYQEL for free after they have run out of credits, just with our SYQEL watermark on the visualizer. If you wish to continue using SYQEL, you can buy 1 hour of visualization. However, if you plan on using SYQEL for more than 8.5 hours a month, you can save money by subscribing to our monthly plan, which gets rid of the credit system and you'll have unlimited use of the visualizers for that month. We find that users use the credits they have to create amazing pieces of content that helps them share their music to new audiences. If you want to do that long term, consider subscribing. Finally, you can view your session history with this link. This shows how long each session was and how much you spent doing it. You can select to view up to a month of session data. Thanks for watching this complete guide going over SYQEL. If you have any questions, you can refer back to this video or join us on our Discord server. We're building a community of enthusiasts who are passionate about music visualizations, so join us over there. Thanks so much for watching.